Let's have a lesson on how to handle yourself. What's new, pussycat? Welcome to my channel. My name is Emma Cownley. I'm a freelance writer, and today I'm going to be answering a question that you have sent in. Somebody recently asked me to talk about how to handle first-time client meetings and what you should do and how to prepare and stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, obviously, as I film this, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so no one is meeting anyone in real life or going to anyone's offices at all. People aren't even going to their own offices. But let's just think of this as preparation for the future when we are going to be allowed to see each other again. Maybe. Probably from within inside the safety of a plastic bubble or something similar. Now, it goes without saying that I'm going to be speaking from my own experience here, things that I like to do that I have found help me. If you are a seasoned writer or freelancer and you've been to plenty of client offices and you have your own tips and tricks to add, sling them in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Every piece of advice is helpful. And if you do have any questions about anything that I've talked about, again, leave me a comment and I will help you. So let's start with the preparation stage, the preparatory stage, the preparation stage. What are you going to do ahead of a meeting to make sure you've got your shit together? Because when you've got your shit together, you go into that meeting feeling like a fierce motherfucker. And it's a lot easier to be confident and really present the best of yourself because you know you've put the work in ahead of time. And that's what we love here on this channel. So the first and most obvious step is so obvious that you're probably going to overlook it and end up looking like a moron. And that is to never ever turn up to a client meeting without half the shit you need. And when I say that, I mean fucking charge your laptop, charge your phone, take a charger, take a spare battery pack, make sure that you've got all that shit there. Take a fucking pen. That's the number one thing. Even I have forgotten this. And I am, as you can see, I'm a Filofax bitch, okay? And I've forgotten a pen before. So make sure you've got that pen, everything is charged and ready to go. Maybe even pack your bag the night before and kind of do a mental check so that you're not rushing around the morning of your meeting, cramming everything in a bag. You are going to forget something. So just make sure everything that you feel like you're going to need is there. Top tip, maybe turn on your laptop and just have it in sleep mode when it's closed in your bag so that when you get to the meeting and you open it up, it's ready to go and you have kind of a browser with all your tabs. Your portfolio tab is there, your website tab is there, their website tab is there. It's all up, so you're not pulling up windows and typing things in and trying to find things and stalling the meeting because you're scrabbling around trying to find the fucking, websites that you need and stuff. Just make sure it's all set up there. Close the lid, go to the meeting. Oh, I've opened it and my portfolio's already on the screen. If you use time planning software like Trello or Basecamp or whatever, kind of make sure that that's open and ticking over as well, and you have your diary so that if they ask you what availability is, you've already got eyes on it. You can just whip it out and tell them. Another preparatory tip that not everybody thinks of, but the information is already out there for you to help you and people don't realise, is that you can check people out on LinkedIn. Now, anyone who knows me at all knows that I am a massive creep. I'm creepy. I'm a real creep. And if I know I'm going to be meeting someone from a particular company, I've been emailing with someone, I know who they are, I'm going to go to LinkedIn, I'm going to type their name in, I'm going to look at their face so that I know who I'm looking for, and I feel a bit more comfortable, It's almost like getting secret intel before the meeting. You know who it is you're going to be talking to. You know their work history, how long they've been with the company, the different roles that they've had, the experience they've got. So that when you're talking to them, you kind of already have a little bit of background on this person, which makes it easier for you to ask questions, figure out maybe how they want to work, why they've been with a certain company for so long. It's all stuff that helps to enrich your knowledge of the company going in, and it's all already out there for you. What you have to do is a little LinkedIn search, and if you've been dealing with maybe a recruiter or someone from HR who's not going to be in the meeting with you, ask them, who am I going to be meeting with? Can you just give me some names? And then you can go away and check them out and be prepared. So let's imagine that you're going in to meet with a client for the first time and you're going to get a brief while you're there. So what I like to do is a couple of steps. My friend Sally has a really good kind of mini rundown on what you need to do to prepare for a meeting. I'll link it below for you as well so that you can go away and look at that. It's really helpful, and it's something that I personally needed to reacquaint myself with. I make sure I do all my homework before going in. I familiarise myself with the company. All of this is a given, obviously. That's shit we all know. And what you can do is take the details you have in the email for kind of what they're looking for and compare it to what you can already see. So if they're saying, oh, we want a website rewrite, okay, go through, look at how many pages there are, how much content is on the pages, and then when you're in the meeting you can ask, well, how does this translate? Because I can see that you currently have, this much over here. Where will that go? What will that be like? And this homework will lead to much more intelligent questions later on in the briefing process, so that you're not going to miss anything out or be caught off guard by anything that they're asking you for the new job. You can also put together a rough quote so that you kind of know how much it would be, and then when you go into the meeting and you get those extra details and timelines, etc., you can flesh out the quote a bit more so you're not completely caught off guard, pulling numbers out of the air, probably undercharging, and leaving yourself feeling bitter, resentful, and poor. Also, make sure they know about you. I know you're going there to meet them and get a brief from them about what they need, but they also need to know about you. That's why they want to meet with you. So make sure they completely understand what your experience is, how you like to work, what your process is, when you're going to be invoicing, how you like workflow to be. Remember, you are the freelancer, and perhaps they've never worked with freelancers before. They're not quite sure of the process. So you go in and say, this is how I do it. This is how it works, usually for me. So let's do it this way. We can integrate your processes if that makes you feel a little bit better and works better for you. But make sure they know how you work, they know what you're about, and they're not kind of like, oh shit, what the fuck is this, Nobody likes surprises, especially not me. So that's if a client actually wants you to come in, meet with them, brief you in person, or maybe over Zoom, I don't know. What happens if they just want an informal chat? Fucking, did you hear that crow? What happens if they just want an informal chat? Well, as I often do on my channel, I'm going to speak from personal preference and experience here. When somebody just wants to chat with you over the phone, that's fine, as long as you limit it to maybe 20 minutes. You have to be strict and firm. If they start chatting over that time, begin to cut them off, say, I've really got to go, this and that. The reason being that people like to get free advice and waste time by having super long calls with you about potentially working together. You go all in, give them all your best bits, give them all your knowledge, you never fucking hear from them again. And that's one of the main reasons I rarely anymore do face-to-face meetings. I travel all the way into central London, have to lug all my stuff in with me. I usually lose half a day's worth of deep work here at my desk to meet with someone and chat for an hour about something which never comes to fruition. If they want to have a kind of chemistry meeting or prospecting meeting, we can do 20 minutes over the phone, or you can pay me to sit down and chat with you for an hour. That's fine. Informal chats, little bit of you've got to be careful with yourself. I know it's very tempting, especially if work is quite scarce or you're new. It's very tempting to go into these and give your 100%, all your time, all your knowledge. Try not to do that, because if I had a quid for every time I did it and didn't get the work or didn't hear from the person again, I wouldn't have needed the job, because I'd be making really good money from people that are bogus. I'd also recommend for these informal chats that you kind of have answers ready for the stock questions that you're going to be asked by a company that doesn't necessarily know about working with freelancers or wants to know about you and how you work. The questions I most often get is,
tell me a little bit about you. How did you get into freelancing? What would you say your area of specialism is? What kind of experience have you had? What do you normally charge? How would you normally approach a project like this?
All that type of stuff. So I like to kind of know my stuff before I go in so that I'm saying it with 100% conviction, especially when it comes to how much do you charge and how do you normally approach a project like this. I like to set the expectation, and that's it, because once you give that answer, they remember it. And if you say, oh, I usually charge £100 a day and I like to do 60 rounds of amendments for free and I always am available on the end of the phone whenever you want me, that's music to their ears, because it means that they can really take the piss with regard to your chargeable time and also call you whenever they want, so that your deep work for other clients on other jobs is disturbed and disrupted because they need to chat with you. So be very careful with how you answer that. I would also recommend, and this is another thing I talk about all the fucking time here on this channel, and that's because it's really important and always overlooked, make sure that you guys are a cultural fit with one another. If they're from a company which really doesn't gel well with you as a writer and what you stand for, how you work, what you believe in, and the kinds of jobs you love that give you passion and fuel you, if they're at complete odds with this, you are not the right writer for them, and maybe you could refer the work to somebody who is a really good fit. So if you're in the meeting with them, try and get a feel for how they are. Are you guys going to work together? Try and convey to them what you stand for, what you believe in, how you like to work, and then that sets you off on the right foot if it's going to be a match made in heaven, which is really important. Nobody wants to work for an arsehole. Obvious rules: really good strong handshake, plenty of eye contact, not creepy eye contact though, a good amount. Don't forget to blink, and don't just don't do this. Just be cool, be confident. If you fake it, you'll eventually become it. My final piece of advice is probably the most crucial piece of advice and the main takeaway from this video, and that is, if you do go to a client office and have a meeting, do accept a free cup of coffee and take as many biscuits as you can, especially if they're the good ones. And there we go. I hope this was helpful. As I said before, if you've got any comments or questions, leave them below for me. I love getting involved with you guys. And you can also find me on Twitter at @EJCownley, and I'll chat with you there. And see you back here in 2 weeks' time for more Kiss My A's. Take care and peace out.